Welcome to Annexed Dinner Table Reviews. I'm Cassandra.
And I'm Devin.
And today we're going to be looking at Hues and Cues from the Op. This is a party game where you are going to be drawing a card and choosing one of these colors to try to have the other players guess what it is. And you can use one word and then you can use two words, but you're trying to be imaginative, use, chartreuse and violet non-standard color words and things like that in order to try to direct them to be close to the color that you want. You want them to be within this 3x3 square of the chosen color. And then everyone gets points based where they were and how many were in the square. And then it passes to the right. And everyone gets either one or two chances depending on how many players are playing. This one was fun. It's definitely interesting to see what people think certain colors are, what is chartreuse, what is violet, and have things like that. It's just, fun. It's interesting to play with, I think, younger players because they don't have that knowledge, so they struggle a little bit more with giving those clues and knowing what those clues are, because, if you don't know what chartreuse is in any family, it's hard to go, yes, that's a yellow.
For sure. And I think there's something interesting about playing with younger kids in that helping develop that vocabulary of what different colors mean. There are so many hues on the board here that, a simplistic yellow, red, green, blue primary color type structure is not going to be enough to get you where you need to be. So on the clue giving, or the cue giving side, a younger player is going to be at a disadvantage, and by extension, the other players are going to be at a disadvantage because they're not going to be able to guess properly. But hopefully, as they play the game, they'll get better at that vocabulary and develop those words.
Definitely. And I think that's something that even for older players, that was something that I felt happened as I played it with the same people over and over. You got to learn what they thought certain colors were and vice versa. And so you were able to go, this is aqua. And they were like, okay, I know what she thinks aqua is, so it's here. And so that was super fun. And it was also interesting because there were just some, as I said before, words that you just had no idea. Someone threw it out and you were like, where do I even start? And so you got like a person way over here as your random guess.
Well, it helps that our game group is primarily artist types. We all work in the theater industry, so also seeing the differences between what a scenic designer or a costume designer or a lighting designer or a projection designer or think a different color means is also very varied.
But also super fun. I would say that it was interesting for that, but it was also challenging because one of our friends is colorblind, and we didn't even think anything of it because we're horrible people, and it was a color game, and he was like, yes, they all look not like what you're saying. So it was interesting in that way. He definitely struggled with it because it is a color-based game, and he just was not able to see those colors as well.
But it's also interesting to see the way he played that game because he does a lot better than I thought he was going to do.
That was true. He did, he definitely did better. You were like, I'm going to trick him. It's going to be green, and he's going to put it in red. And he was like, nope, I know the difference. And you're like, how? You're red-green colorblind.
Well, it does also help that there is a slight gradient on the board and that you can kind of infer some of that. But yes. I think overall this game is very simplistic to learn the rules of. Where the challenge comes in is in those vocabulary words and just trying to learn it. So it's really quick to pick up, really easy to teach, and so you can be on your feet playing this game really quick.
Yeah. Well, and I think it was also great how many people could play this. It's definitely a party game. You can have like up to 10 people playing, and that's just super fun because it's interactive and just interactive. Everyone's always moving, talking, doing something, even at those really high player counts because, you know, you say chartreuse and I put it here and now everyone's like, oh, you don't know what chartreuse is, and it's just a little fun.
And it helps in that regard that you're not buried down on a player board, you're not buried in a deck of cards, your head's up the entire time. The only person who actually draws a card is the person who's the cue giver. So you're not having to be buried down tending your own garden. You're very much interacting and socializing with the group.
Yeah. So it was super fun and so much variation because you've got this huge deck. It's massive. And each game you're using between like 6 and 10 cards. And it's just like, wow, that is not a lot of cards for a deck that big. And you have choices through there. Yeah, it was definitely a super fun party game. I'm glad that we got it and can pull it out when we have some fun company. And I think Devin said before, you can definitely teach it to younger children. I think that 8 is where I would put it. Would you agree?
Yeah, it depends. Like I would say, if you're playing this game as the base game rules imply, then yes, probably 8 is probably a good place for playing. But this is a game which has an entire gradient on here, and if you're trying to teach colors, you could go even lower and not even use it as a game. Just start introducing those vocabularies really early, and just start pointing to things and playing with it in a variant of the rules to teach those colors. So yeah, 8 I think to play maybe the base game and just kind of get into how to play it. And then you can go even lower if you're just trying to teach color and things like that.
And I didn't even think about teaching colors through this as a good, like, fun learning activity that you don't even realize is learning.
Yeah.
But yeah. So this was Hues and Cues, a really fun color party game from the Up. Thanks for watching.